The whispered words hung in the air between them, charged with meaning that neither had dared acknowledge until now. As Ryan stood there, his heart hammering against his ribs, he realized that sometimes the most life-changing moments come disguised as ordinary decisions. If you've ever found yourself at a crossroads where one simple choice could alter everything, stay with me, this story might just remind you why taking chances matters. If this resonates with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to see more stories that explore the complicated, beautiful mess that is human connection. So where do I sleep? The words had tumbled from Ryan's mouth before he could stop them, and now there was no taking them back. His boss, Claire Montgomery, the formidable CEO who had intimidated him since day one, looked suddenly vulnerable in the soft glow of her office lamp. The business trip they were about to embark on had just become something else entirely. 3 months earlier, Ryan Parker had been drowning. Not literally, though some days, that might have felt like a mercy, but drowning in the endless responsibilities of being both mother and father to his 8-year-old daughter, Sophia. "Daddy, you forgot to sign my permission slip again," Sophia said, her small face pinched with disappointment as she climbed into his beat-up Honda. Ryan ran a hand through his disheveled hair. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'll email your teacher tonight." "That's what you said yesterday." The truth stung. Since Melissa had walked out 2 years ago, claiming she wasn't cut out for motherhood, Ryan had been trying to hold their world together with duct tape and sheer determination. His job as a financial analyst at Montgomery Enterprises paid the bills, but the hours were brutal, and the new CEO, Claire Montgomery, had a reputation for being merciless with underperformers. That evening, after tucking Sophia in with promises of a better tomorrow, Ryan sat at his kitchen table surrounded by bills and a half-empty bottle of cheap wine. His phone buzzed with an email notification. "Parker. See me tomorrow, 8 a.m. sharp. C. Montgomery." Ryan's stomach dropped. In the 3 weeks since Claire had taken over from her father, she'd already let go of 12 employees. Tomorrow, he'd likely be number 13. "Mr. Parker, do you know why you're here?" Claire Montgomery sat behind her imposing glass desk, her dark hair pulled into a severe bun that emphasized her sharp cheekbones and penetrating gray eyes. "I assume it's about the Westfield account," Ryan said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I know I missed the deadline, but my daughter was sick, and—" "It's about the Westfield account, yes," Claire interrupted, "and the Donovan proposal, and the quarterly projections that were due last Friday." She leaned forward. "Your work has been consistently late and below standard for the past month." Ryan swallowed hard. "Ms. Montgomery, I understand how this looks. I'm not making excuses, but I'm a single father, and sometimes I don't care about your personal circumstances, Mr. Parker." Her voice was cold. "I care about results." The words hit him like a physical blow. He thought of Sophia, of the promise he'd made to always provide for her. "Please," he said quietly. "I need this job." Something flickered across Claire's face, so briefly he almost missed it. She studied him for a long moment, then sighed. "The Tokyo account. Excuse me? We're pitching to Nakamura Industries next month. It's a $50 million deal that could transform this company." She tapped her manicured nails against her desk. "I need someone who understands their financial structure. Someone like you." Ryan blinked in confusion. "You want me on the Tokyo account?" "What I want is competence, Mr. Parker. You have 2 weeks to prove you can deliver that. If you impress me with the preliminary analysis, you'll join me in Tokyo for the pitch." She raised an eyebrow. "Consider it your last chance." For the next 2 weeks, Ryan worked like a man possessed. He arranged for his neighbor, Mrs. Chen, to watch Sophia after school. He stayed up until the early hours, poring over Nakamura's financial history, identifying patterns and opportunities that others had missed. When he finally presented his findings to Claire, he expected the same cool dismissal she gave everyone. Instead, she listened intently, occasionally asking razor-sharp questions that pushed him to defend his analysis. "This is thorough," she said when he finished, which from Claire Montgomery was practically a standing ovation. "You'll need a passport for Tokyo. We leave in 3 weeks." As Ryan turned to leave, relief washing over him, Claire added, "And Parker? Find reliable childcare. We'll be gone for 5 days." The childcare proved more challenging than the financial analysis. Mrs. Chen was visiting family in Taiwan. His parents lived 3 states away. Melissa hadn't contacted them in over a year. 3 days before the trip, his last option fell through when Sophia's best friend's mother came down with the flu. "Ms. Montgomery," Ryan said, standing in her office doorway, his heart heavy. "I can't go to Tokyo. I can't find anyone to watch my daughter." Claire looked up from her computer, her expression unreadable. "That's unfortunate. I'm sorry. I know how important this is." She was quiet for a moment, then asked, "How old is your daughter?" 8. "And there's no one at all who can watch her?" Ryan shook his head. "Her mother isn't in the picture. I've tried everyone." Claire tapped her pen against her desk, then made a decision. "Bring her." "What?" "Bring your daughter to Tokyo. The company will cover her expenses." When Ryan stared at her in disbelief, she added, "This deal is too important, and your analysis is too valuable to leave behind. Make the arrangements." Tokyo was a sensory overload of neon lights, crowded streets, and unfamiliar sounds. Sophia was wide-eyed with wonder, clutching Ryan's hand as they navigated the bustling city. To Ryan's surprise, Claire had arranged adjoining rooms at the hotel, with a connecting door that could be left open so he could hear Sophia at night. Even more surprising was how Claire interacted with his daughter, not with condescension or forced cheerfulness, but with the same direct respect she showed adults. "Do you like mathematics, Sophia?" Claire asked over dinner their first night. Sophia nodded enthusiastically. "I'm the best in my class at multiplication. That's a valuable skill. Numbers never lie, unlike people." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "That's a cynical view to share with an 8-year-old. Claire met his gaze. "Is it cynical to value truth? I would have appreciated such honesty as a child." There was something in her voice, a hint of old pain, that made Ryan look at her differently. For the first time, he wondered about the woman behind the intimidating facade. During the days, while Ryan and Claire attended meetings, Sophia stayed with a professional childcare service Claire had vetted. In the evenings, the 3 of them explored the city together, an unlikely trio navigating temples, gardens, and bustling markets. Ryan noticed how Claire relaxed incrementally each day, how her smiles became less rare, how she listened intently when Sophia chattered about the origami she'd learned or the koi fish she'd seen. On their 4th night, after Sophia had fallen asleep, Ryan found Claire on the hotel's rooftop garden, gazing out at the glittering Tokyo skyline. "Thank you," he said, joining her at the railing. "For letting me bring her. For being so kind to her." Claire didn't look at him. "Your daughter is intelligent and well-mannered. That reflects well on your parenting." High praise from Claire Montgomery. A small smile curved her lips. "Don't get used to it." They stood in comfortable silence for a while before Claire spoke again. "My father never made time for me. The company always came first." She took a sip from her glass of whiskey. "I swore I'd never be like him, yet here I am, running his company, working the same punishing hours." "But you're not like him," Ryan said. "You made room for Sophia. You've been patient and thoughtful with her." Claire finally turned to look at him, her expression softer than he'd ever seen it. "Perhaps we all have the capacity to be better than our programming." The next day, they secured the Nakamura deal. The Japanese executives were impressed not only by their financial analysis but by what one called their family-oriented approach, having seen Ryan, Claire, and Sophia together at the hotel. As they celebrated with champagne and apple juice for Sophia, in Claire's suite, Ryan realized something had fundamentally shifted between him and his boss. The Ice Queen had thawed, revealing a complex, thoughtful woman who carried her own burdens and vulnerabilities. Back in New York, Ryan expected things to return to normal, Claire the demanding CEO, him the struggling employee. Instead, Claire implemented a company-wide flexible work policy and opened a subsidized childcare center in the building. "It's not charity," she told the board. "It's good business. We lose valuable talent when we force employees to choose between their families and their careers." Ryan occasionally caught her watching him across the office, her expression thoughtful. Sometimes, she'd stop by his desk with questions that seemed more like pretexts for conversation. Once, she brought Sophia a book on Japanese folktales after overhearing the girl say she missed Tokyo. 2 months after their trip, Claire called Ryan into her office. "The Singapore expansion," she said without preamble. "I need someone to go there next week, assess the market, meet with potential partners." Ryan's heart sank. "I can't leave Sophia again so soon." "I know." Claire hesitated, then added, "That's why I thought, perhaps I should go instead." "Oh." Ryan tried to hide his disappointment. The Singapore project was exactly the kind of challenge he'd been hoping for. Claire must have seen it in his face. "Unless," she said carefully, "you have another solution." Their eyes met, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between them, a possibility neither had dared voice until now. "Don't let me go alone," Claire whispered, the words barely audible. Ryan's heart pounded. Was she suggesting what he thought she was? "So where do I sleep?" he asked, the question hanging between them like a bridge neither was sure would hold their weight. Claire's smile was small but genuine. "We'll figure that out together." The Singapore trip marked the beginning of something neither Ryan nor Claire had been looking for but both desperately needed. They moved cautiously at first, both carrying scars from their pasts, Claire from her cold, distant father and failed relationships with men who wanted her money or power, Ryan from Melissa's abandonment and the crushing responsibility of single parenthood. But Sophia proved to be the unexpected glue that bound them together. She adored Claire's no-nonsense approach to life, her intelligence, and her hidden playful side that emerged during board game nights and weekend adventures. 6 months after Tokyo, Claire joined them for Thanksgiving dinner, the first holiday she'd celebrated with anyone other than business associates in years. As they sat around Ryan's modest dining table, Sophia proudly serving the pumpkin pie she'd helped bake, Claire reached for Ryan's hand under the table. "I never thought I'd have this," she confessed later that night, after Sophia had gone to bed. "A family. Someone who sees me as Claire, not as Montgomery Enterprises." Ryan brushed a strand of hair from her face. "I never thought I'd find someone who would love not just me, but my daughter too." "She makes it easy," Claire said. "You both do." There were challenges, of course. Claire's workaholic tendencies didn't disappear overnight. Ryan sometimes struggled with Claire's wealth and the power imbalance of their professional relationship. Sophia had moments of insecurity, fearing that Claire might leave them just as her mother had. But they faced each obstacle together, with honesty and patience. Claire stepped back from some of her CEO responsibilities, delegating to a team she finally learned to trust. Ryan accepted a promotion to head of financial strategy, reporting to the COO rather than directly to Claire. And they both reassured Sophia daily that their family, unconventional as it was built to last. A year after Tokyo, Claire sold her sleek penthouse apartment and moved into Ryan's cozy brownstone, bringing with her only the possessions that truly mattered, her books, her father's old record collection, and a newfound capacity for joy. "Daddy, is Claire going to be my mom now?" Sophia asked one evening as Ryan tucked her in. Ryan glanced at Claire, who stood in the doorway, her expression vulnerable. "Claire is Claire," he said carefully. "She loves you very much, in her own special way. Is that okay with you? Sophia considered this, then nodded. I think I like having a Claire better than having a mom. Moms can leave, but Claire promises she's staying forever. Claire crossed the room and sat on the edge of Sophia's bed. That's right, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Some promises are unbreakable. That's one of them. Later that night, as they lay together in the darkness of their bedroom, Claire whispered, "Thank you for answering my question that day in my office." What question? Ryan asked sleepily. When I said, "Don't let me go alone." You asked where you would sleep. She propped herself up on one elbow to look at him. You could have pretended not to understand what I was really asking. You could have played it safe. Ryan smiled, remembering his moment of boldness. Sometimes the biggest risks bring the greatest rewards. Indeed, Claire agreed, settling back against his chest. And sometimes what looks like the end of your story is actually just the beginning. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that explores the unexpected journeys life takes us on. Remember that sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives begin with a single moment of courage, a whispered invitation, an honest question, a leap of faith. What invitation might